Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. And in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about computers and operating systems. If you watched my channel, you know that I have a Dell Optiplex 7010 small form factor that's set up with FreeBSD, and it's been running FreeBSD now for a couple months on that machine, but I've been running FreeBSD for probably six or 7 months possibly. I'd have to look back on the videos. And then on another computer right here in my work section, I have a Dell Optiplex 790, and it's a small form factor. But I also have down below a mini tower, it's called right here, I believe. That's a 7010, and it's running Arch Linux. So 7010, I have a small form factor running FreeBSD. Also, I have a mini tower, a smaller tower than normal, 7010 running Arch Linux. I have a 790 right here that is running Void Linux. And in this machine that I'm using right this second is a Dell Optiplex Precision Tower 3620. It's got 64 gigs of RAM in it. What I want you to see and notice is Linux Mint 20.2. Well, one of the reasons is I've got 4 computers in my workstation, and I've never really used Linux Mint. Just never have. I've installed it on several computers and have helped them several times with the operating system, getting something to work, what have you. But I never have really installed it and looked at it and actually used it, put it to work. So I decided that I was going to install Linux Mint on the computer, and here's one of the reasons why. Let's see, drive. This is going to ask me for my password twice, I believe. Oh, this computer runs, as you noticed, I'm sorry, is running NVIDIA GeForce GT 7010. And up until now, I've not had a single problem with it, running Arch Linux or any other thing I threw at it. Come to find out, NVIDIA dropped support, apparently, and it was messing me up. So instead of just fighting with it, I looked at Linux Mint, installed Linux Mint on here, and at first, of course, it installs the Nouveau driver, open source, but Screentearing and really bad performance. Opened up the driver manager, installed this version, and I had to do one other thing, and we'll get to that, to make it start working without, I don't think, any screen tearing. Like my last video, I did it on Linux Mint here, and I noticed some screen tearing. But I think I've corrected that, and only time will tell. So, like I said, we're running Linux Mint 20.2. This is their homepage, linuxmint.com. You look at the new features here. This is the Cinnamon desktop, by the way, right here, UMA Cinnamon Edition. There's been some updates in the update manager itself. It updates Apple's desklets, themes, and extensions. Apparently, it didn't do that before. And that's what I'm saying. I just am not that familiar with Linux Mint. I got a pretty good idea how Ubuntu and Debian's work, so I thought I owed it to myself to actually install Linux Mint and see if it works. And so far, it has worked pretty good, except for the video thing. And I'll show you here what I did well, let's just start at the top of my list. Let's just say you've installed Linux Mint, and during the install, you told it that you wanted to do a password. Well, you can change that. Let's go to the login, type in login, click on login window, and this is the one that'll make me, go to login window, click on the users here, and you can see a pretty good selection of options that you have as far as being able to auto login. while we're in this window, let's go to the next thing I've learned here. In order to get numlock to work, which I'm not sure why it don't work right out of the box. For some reason it don't, and you have to install a program called numlockx. Once you install numlockx, come back to the login window and go to settings, and you can tick that on, and then your numlock will be activated. Very simple thing, I know, but it can be very aggravating. It is for me. One of the fonts that I like to use is called Times New Roman. And in order to get that, you'll have to install ttf-mscorefonts-installer. Once you do that, you'll be able to use Times New Roman fonts, which just happens to be one that I like. I know it's a Microsoft font. I don't care. I like it. It's been around for a long, long time. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to know was, how did I find out a list of everything that's on my computer? And I put together a little list here. We'll just run them and see what they come up with. This first one, hit enter. I'll just leave that open. Go to my Explorer and go to my documents. Sorry. And this is the list that will produce. And you'll notice it's not exclusive to the ones that you installed. It has everything, but it does have the stuff you installed, like here, C-Matrix, DVD Disaster. I didn't install that. It come in with something else. dvdstyler, Featherpad, Firefox, etc. So it gives you a list of everything. So we're going to close that without saving. Oh, I closed my wrong one out. That's why it asked me to save it. All right, sorry about that. So that was the LS user share applications, etc. This first one here. The second one utilizes find. Copy that. Go back to my terminal. Paste that in there. Now this will be in my documents. It's called applications text. Documents, applications text. And now you still get cinnamon, all the stuff that come in with things. So there's not a whole lot of difference here, really. But it is an option. Just minimize that. Close it again. How do I keep doing that? Oh, I know how, because it's the last one I opened up was in Z. All right, so let's try this one. Let's see what this one looks like. And again, this is all going to be preferenced on what you need. Now this one's called Installed Software Mint List. Documents. All right, now this one will give you everything as well that you've installed, but it has this install thing right here, and I'm not sure. I guess that means that you've installed it, or I installed it. At least while I'm looking through here, I'm not seeing anything that indicates otherwise. Do that again. Let's close that list out. And while we're here, let's copy this next one. And it says it's a very long list, and it is, but it's the quickest. And it's going to be all in your terminal. It gives you a list of everything. It's everything that's included on your computer. Cancel. Q gets me out of that. Clear that. And of course, flat pack list. If you're curious if you have any flat packs installed, and as you can see, I don't. One more. and get the parenthesis. Copy. That's terminal, paste, hit enter. Now this again is going to stay in the terminal, but it's very specific to things that you've installed. That's not true. I'm seeing a lot of things that I didn't install that are dependencies. So you still get other things, but a more precise list. Like for instance, Krita, you can see Krita, but here's the stuff that came in with it, data and GMIC. So you get the dependencies as well. So you'll just have to use whichever one you want to use and see which one works for you the best. Get rid of that. Make sure that's documents. All right. So that's how you can find out what programs you've installed or what is installed, has been installed on your computer. One thing I like is a program called dvdstyler, and it's not available through their repositories. So let's see, that should have been right there. 16.9. Go ahead and just close that out and close this out. This is dvdstyler, and this allows you to convert MP4, MPEG, MP3, whatever video files, and also it allows you to create menus. And I like it. It's the closest thing I have found to what I used to use. I believe it was called Showtime by Nero. Anyway, I like dvdstyler, and the only way to get that, and here's the link that leads you to here. You're going to install a PPA, and here's the command for it: sudo add-apt-repository space PPA Ubuntu handbook 1 / dvdstyler. And then you want to update and upgrade your system, and then sudo apt install dvdstyler, and it'll work. In case it don't work for some reason, in Mint it works just fine because these other programs come in by default anyway, like FFmpeg, X264, and X265. If you don't have those, dvdstyler may fail. If it does, then you just add those packages. FFmpeg, X264, and X265, a set of video drivers. All right, numlock, we just did that. Now, I was experiencing screen tearing, and I'm not seeing any right now, and I'm shaking that around pretty good. And I found a solution in the Linux Mint forums right here, and it was dated December 27th, 2020. So it's almost a year old, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but it worked. Apparently it has worked, and I'll know when I'm editing this video if it worked. Tells you right here, add the kernel parameter in nvidia-drm.modeset equals 1 to the grub file. Here's how you get to that. We're going to edit that with Z. Copy. Paste. Yep. I knew one of them required 2 passwords. All right, so this might be a little hard to see. Here's the line that we're going to change. It was this. All it had in there was quick splash. Here. What happened to it? I just closed it out. What? I don't know why I closed that out or even how I did it. There it is. So quiet right here, grub command Linux default equals, and all it was here in between double quotes was quiet splash. And I added nvidia-drm modeset equals 1, all within the double quotes. After I did that, I updated the grub sudo apt update -grub, and then I rebooted. And so far, I have not had or seen any evidence of screen tearing. I can just hope. if that works, that's a beautiful little tip right there for anybody running an NVIDIA, particularly a GT710. Because I was having some screen tearing. Okay, let's look at some background. I want to show you this. Change desktop background. You see this full list here. What this is, also there's other things in there. Get off of that. Right here is a list of all the backgrounds available throughout Linux Mint's history. And here is the command that you'll need to run. And I won't run it, or let's see, it should ask me to proceed, and I can say no, it's all, well, it just tells me they're all already installed. So that was sudo apt install mint backgrounds asterisk, and that will download all of the desktops from the complete history of backgrounds. What a great little that's a nice touch. I appreciate that for one. And so that's what I've learned so far about Linux Mint. And I'm sure I'm gonna learn a lot more things. I got to admit that I did have some surprises, and I did have to learn a few things, but it wasn't tough because I already knew a little bit about Debian and Ubuntu. I think, let's see, if we go to DistroWatch, I know everybody hates DistroWatch. We just type in there. Well, we don't have to, it's over here. Right there, Mint. Yeah, it says it's based on Debian Debian, Ubuntu LTS. Make of that whatever you will. But I already was a little familiar with those operating systems and apt-get and this, that, and the other. So that made it a little easier to learn. And I got to say there, the forums are phenomenal, or at least the ones I've looked at. I have found every single answer. I was a little worried about that screen tearing. I wasn't sure. I'd never experienced screen tearing on this machine before running Arch. I just never had any screen tearing. So when it started happening on this machine, I was like, well, let me see what I can find out about it. Just so happened, I just went to Google, typed in Linux Mint, NVIDIA, screen tear. And the first page I found was right here, the answer. And I put this in the link, all this in the show notes below. I guess that's going to do it. I have made up my mind to run Linux Mint. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm really happy about it. I've learned quite a bit. I'm still learning quite a bit. A couple things I don't like. For instance, my clock. I can customize it, but so far I haven't been able to figure out how to enlarge the clock a little bit, make it bigger so I can see it without my glasses. I did see where there is a way to go in and edit some scripts somewhere in order to make that bigger, but I don't think that's fair for a regular end user to have to jump through hoops to make his clock bigger. It should be a simple matter of going in. Let's see, how do we do that? Yeah, panel edit mode, go to system settings. Oh, it's here. There we go. It should be just a simple matter of doing the right zone there and then increasing the size of it. But that everything changes but that. Close out of that edit mode. Mess something up. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you run into a snag on any other distro and you're wanting to just do something easy, Linux Mint so far has been fairly easy. I will say this. If somebody wants to know what to recommend for a ex-Windows user or Windows user that's interested in going over into Linux, I'm not real sure that Linux Mint justifies being the #1 choice there, at least from what I'm seeing. I will say this. The several people that I've installed Mint on are happy with it. And I'm not sure if my opinion comes because I've been running Arch so much and Void and FreeBSDs, and I mean I just don't know why I feel that way, but I do. And I will probably still put this on other computers for a new user, unless there are a couple that would be in line, in my opinion, that would be at least as appropriate as Linux Mint. That's going to do it on this video. I hope I didn't blab too much. I'll talk to you on another video. Peace out, guys. Bye.